ready, take it away.
All right, another really tough challenge again this week with a gritty, well-coached Pitt team. They've had a great year, and they obviously coming off a close, disappointing loss against Virginia, where they had a couple of their key players got hurt. But this is a typical Coach Narduzzi team, man. I mean, they're tough, they're physical, they're gritty, and that's a characteristic that every Pitt team I've seen. They all have that, and that's coached into them. Got a great staff. It's a great place to go play a game. Just been up there the one time. Obviously, we didn't get a good result, but got a lot of respect for them as a program, and again how they play the game. I mean, both sides of the ball. They've had a heck of a year offensively. They're one of the top scoring offenses in the country. We're both top 15, 16 scoring offenses, and they're throwing the ball all over the park. A lot of tempo, and they've got some electric players. They've got a really good group of receivers all across the board. Their tight ends are really involved. And then they've got an absolute, rocket in the backfield with that zero. He can do it all. He's fifth in the country in all-purpose. They're one of the best passing teams in the country, top 25 pass. I think they're 22nd overall in passing the ball. So plus they're rushing for 150 plus a game. So it's a really, really good football team. That challenge you. A lot of RPOs, a lot of zone read, but the ball's out quick, and we've got to do a great job, in trying to put a good plan together to defend these guys. Try to carry over from this past game, the type of consistency that we want to create down the stretch defensively to finish well, and find a way to turn them over and affect their quarterback. But that's easier said than done. But really, really physical group up front in the offensive line, and again, got some dudes that can make plays and can change direction, yards after the catch. Both quarterbacks are really good players. Obviously, Holstein went down in the last game. Don't know what his status is. We just always assume that everybody's playing, kind of like last week. It's just kind of how we go about it, and we'll go from there. And then defensively, I mean, they are who they are. I mean, they're incredibly aggressive, a million pressures. They stress you from a ID communication standpoint, because they got a ton of hot pressures where they just hoping that they can. That you ID the wrong guys, and they got a lot of guys coming free, and they'll play man behind it, they'll play zone behind it. They a ton of press coverage. Safeties are incredibly aggressive in the run game. I think they're top 15 in the country in rush defense, so they don't give up a lot of run yards by nature of what they do. So again, another physical group. They're up front. They can get after the passer. They're an up the field group. And downhill with their back seven when it comes to stopping the run and then challenging you physically to make competitive plays. So good football team across the board. Dangerous in the return game as well. And again, that number 0, he's a problem all over the field. But looking forward to it. Looks like it's going to be pretty good weather up there in Pittsburgh, and noon game. Great opportunity for us. I mean, this is our last conference game, so a chance to, if we can find a way to win the game, finish 7-1 in our league, especially coming off of a disappointing 4-4 league play season last year. It'd be a great improvement for us. So just got to have a great week of practice. That's where it starts. And today will be a tough Tuesday practice, and I like where the guys are mentally, and they're excited about what opportunity they still have to try to finish strong this season. Any questions?
Do you have any feel for T and Tristan Lee right now?
Yeah, they're truly day-to-day. And, again, we thought Tate was going to play up until breakfast last week. And then Tristan, structurally everything's good. He just day to day kind of working his way back.
Is his talent around still week to week?
Yep, and looks great. He's a guy that probably could be ready maybe next week, certainly by South Carolina game. But he's a guy we kind of got to make a decision on because he played 4 games, and so we could try to get his year back if we can hold him. So that's a decision we'll have to just see where we are as we finish up. We got 18 days left in the season, so we'll just kind of have to see how it all plays out. It certainly would be great for him if we could at this point hold the year, but we'll just have to see how it all plays out. But he certainly will be available for postseason.
Dave Hart not on the depth chart this week. Is he?
Yeah, he's out. Yeah, he's out. Yeah, he's out this week for sure.
Looking back at the Russian defense last week versus the Louisville game, is there anything in hindsight that you wish you did against Louisville that you did against Tech schematically or anything like that?
No, we just did it better. Just a different mentality, completely different mindset. So no.
Wide receiver Adam Randall, I think, played about 3 snaps against Virginia Tech this past week, I guess. How can he increase his role after playing, I guess, 20?
Yeah, just some situational stuff like the week before Cole hardly played any snaps. I mean, it just you get into rotation and it's series here, series there. Some series are longer than others, and but he's made some. Obviously, he's missed a couple games, but he's made some big plays for us, and he'll make some big ones down the stretch. But just kind of how that game went from a personnel standpoint in that particular game, but nothing. It's just kind of week to week on how all that stuff plays out.
Will Sammy get started again this week, or be based off what Pitt's doing offensively?
Just based on what they do. I mean, they're an all 11 personnel team. I think they I don't know, very very few snaps of 12. It's mostly all 11 personnel. But we'll see how it is situationally, and he's certainly got to have opportunity to play, and he's earned that, and will continue to do that. And it's just really created some great depth there. We really feel good about where we are. We felt great coming into the season with Kobe. Kobe was really our third guy and really ready to play. Sammy wasn't quite there, and man, now where we are, we feel good about where we are depth-wise because D. Creighton has really improved. He's a redshirt freshman. He's really improved. Jamal has improved. You haven't seen it quite as much on the field. And Sammy has just, as the game has slowed down for him, he's just taken off and has done such an awesome job. He's in a really good place. So we feel good about our group, especially when we get Kobe back. And then you got, next year will be a much more veteran group with D and Jamal and Kobe and Sammy and Woodaz back. And then we've redshirted a couple guys. We redshirted, Drew Woodaz, and then we redshirted Cuba Taylor, and and where we are now with 3 games left, we got a bunch of guys that are now available that have played 1 game that we've saved that can give us some depth on some special teams down the stretch here, which will be good. But those 3 guys, Sammy and Barrett and Woodaz, it's nice to have some really, really functional depth, down the stretch here.
Dabo, do you talk at all with your team about the opportunity to be the first in the ACC to get 7 wins and what that might do to the other teams in the league in terms of game pressure coming down the stretch?
Not specifically that. I mean, we've talked about how great it would be to finish 7-1 in our league and not to be the first 7 win or what it does to other people. We just talked about what that means for us, to be able to finish the best we can finish is 7-1 at this point. So that's what we control. So to be able to, again, last year we were 4-4. So to come back this year and we beat everybody that beat us last year except for one team that we wasn't on our schedule. So to be able to, get better and have a much better conference play, and we're put ourselves in position. We weren't in position this time last year. So we're still, in the thick of it. There's a lot of things that can happen. We don't control any of that, so we don't worry about it. We just want to focus on what we can handle and what we can control, and that's how we play this week and the best possible finish that we can have. So that would be 7-1, and that would be, like I said, a 17-team league. That'd be a really good year for us, and kind of, getting back on track within this league, because that's where it all starts.
Hampton, I think, came in for Terrell on the third drive or so. Terrell finished with fewer snaps than usual. Just trying to strike a more like 3-corner rotation.
Yeah,
player.
we were just trying to make sure that we had. It wasn't just for Terrell. He was in and out for everybody. We were just rolling those 3, and that was kind of intentional going into the game. And again, when you talk about counting plays and stuff, it's there's no. I mean, you can't control how series are going to go. And hey, you're in for this series. What might be 3 plays, and then the next series, okay, this guy's in and it went 12 plays. So you don't dictate that stuff. But we did go into the game really, wanted to just have a 3-man rotation and be able to play Ashton, a good bit in that game. So we felt good about where he was, and he's made a lot of progress. His confidence has grown. Certainly, make a play like he made, that helps. But practice habits, all those things. I mean, he's on his way, and he brings a lot of diversity. He's one of those kids that we're trying to really get him honed in at quarterback. But he's a guy that he can play anything. I mean, that's one of the things we loved about him in the recruiting process. I mean, he could play that nickel position. He could play either safety position. I mean, there's a lot of versatility to that kid's game, and he's unique. He's really, really unique player. So excited about the progress he's made. Still got work to do, but definitely feel good about with Shelton out as well, who was kind of our 4th corner, trying to really force the issue and make sure that because we knew Jay Lou was a little banged up too. So Jay Lou had a little he wasn't able to practice really a full practice and a half last week. He was out. So good to have that type of game for Ashton and feel good about where those guys are as a group.
Phil Maffa had back-to-back 100-yard rushing games. What makes him so consistent that even if the offense is kind of in flux, you can hand him the ball, he would just gain 4 or 5 yards type kind of
that
thing?
Offensive line, it doesn't happen without those big guys up front, straining and getting it done. I mean, and Cade making the right decisions. Because there's a lot of things in our run game that are dictated by, the decision that Cade makes at the line of scrimmage and post-snap. But you got to, Maffa would be the first one to tell you got to give all the credit to them guys up front and guys straining downfield, receivers and tight ends. But Phil's just steady, man. I mean, he's just such a smart player. He understands patience and how important that is in the run game and setting your blocks up. And he understands all the run schemes. He understands defense. He sees it and he feels it. So just a really, really talented player, man. I'm really proud of him. The type of season that he's had, it's been awesome.
He's had 176 snaps the last 2 games to 7 for Jay Haynes. Would you like to have more?
I like Mo Maffa, Mo better. That's what I like. I ain't worried about anything else. Little Maffa's good, Mo is better. This is the championship phase, man. I mean, we have all the confidence in the world in our other guys, but why would you not want to give the ball to Maffa more? I mean, we only got him for a few more weeks. He's gonna be gone, and he's a horse, man. So, I mean, it's not like we're just blowing everybody out. Games are on the line. You can put your best. If I had the other guy out there, y'all say, "Why's Maffa on the sideline?" Why would you have your best player on the sideline and you got this guy in there? We're trying to win the game, and we got our best players in the game. So it ain't got nothing to do. We love our guys. We love them. We love Jay Haynes. We love Easy E. Love Jarvis. We love Keith Adams. We love our guys. But Maffa's our best player, and so heavy is the crown. Just where he's at. He's been on that sideline enough. This is his time to be that guy, and we've needed him, and he's come through for us in a big way. So, Mo Maffa.
thing on your radio show. You said K Potts had his worst game of the season against Virginia Tech. I guess.
I thought from a quarterback play standpoint, just playing the position, I thought it was his worst game. It was as good a game as he's ever had from a leadership standpoint, a grit standpoint, a heart standpoint, a toughness standpoint, a will to win standpoint. He ain't never been better. A+++. It was freaking awesome. I mean, he was just great. And it's been fun to see him as far as just how he's grown as a leader. And it just is, I mean, he's got an awesome will to win and a toughness to him. But as far as just quarterback play, I thought it was his worst game. Just stuff that we need him to do as a quarterback in decisions. And he took 4 sacks. Every sack was on him. Every sack. And none of them should have happened. And they just tried to do a little too much a couple times, and that was just frustrating. There were a couple plays there that we didn't pull the trigger on, but the best part about it is you didn't even have to tell him. In fact, when that was what I said, how'd you think you played? Because you win a game like that, and he made some he did some unbelievable stuff. And he's like, I think it was my worst game. And I was like, man, that's why I know you're going to be a great player. Because I didn't have to tell him. He already knew. And I'm talking about from a quarterback standpoint, this quarterback play. He said that, and I didn't disagree. But as far as all the other stuff, we don't win that game without that. And that is just, I mean, his running ability is just changed everything for us this year.
What do you attribute to the slow start of that game?
Didn't finish plays. I mean, we 15 play drive and we were first down on the 26, and we take a grounding. That can't happen. I mean, it's first down. You got to know where your people are, and he just kind of panicked right there, and that's a grounding. Well, we hand it to Maffa, and we overcome it, and Maffa runs to the 15, so it's going to be first down and scoring zone on the 15. Well, Antonio's holding. So penalties, critical penalties. And then we get the interception right there, and so we got no points. And we come back another drive, and we had a jumped offside, and we throw the ball out of bounds on a free play. We don't even give them a chance. But now it's 3rd and 2, and then we don't execute, and it's there. I mean, we just did not execute properly. So just precision in what we're doing, penalties, and then drops. We come back, another drive, and we hit our best player right there. And he just drops it. I mean, if y'all watch the game, it's pretty easy to see. You got to finish drives. You got to make the plays that are there and do the routine stuff well. And we didn't do that. Critical missed opportunities. Again, drops and penalties. And then obviously we have another good drive and we get the blocked field goal. So it was incredibly frustrating to have the ball almost 20 minutes in the first half and you got no points. It's not like we're just stopping us. We couldn't get out of our own way. We played with 9 or 10 way too much. That's not a good recipe for success in offensive football, playing with 9 and 10 guys. And so it was really disappointing. And obviously, we lost Tristan Lee right out of the gate. Marcus Tate's gone. But I thought those guys battled really hard. No sacks by that offensive line against one of the top sacking teams in the country. So just missed plays, not precise in what we needed to do. But we were there. We just didn't finish. And then we came back in the second half and we scored, I think, 4 out of 7 possessions, and should have been a fifth one. TJ has the drop on the blade, and that's probably a walk. And just missed plays. We gotta be precise in just doing the routine stuff well, and we didn't do that. Now we were much better in the second half, but defense was awesome for 4 quarters. Thought they did a great job the whole night. Offense got it going in the second half, and again we moved the ball, And that's frustrating when you go 15 plays and you're in the score and you overcome one penalty, and then you come down and here you are. It should be first and scoring, in the 15-yard line, and now you got a holding call. And then we had a 4th and 2 that, we felt like they missed a call on that we didn't go our way, and Cade took a sack on that and gave up 10 yards for our defense. And he should have. You can't take a sack there. So just, but again, because sometimes they're going to miss a call. But it was just still could have given him a chance. Even if he's holding him. But just some misplays. That's it. Just not crisp in our execution. Again, penalties and drops, and just a few missed cues. 9 and 10 guys getting their job done, and we got it going in the second half. Played much better.